So we're basically talking today about our support library. If you click on support here, I just wanted to show you, we've definitely done some updates. We've moved some things around. So just want to make sure that you have access to our AXUS support library and you're able to kind of see different things. We're still kind of making some tweaks, so bear with us. Um, but yeah, so basically our support library, you'll want to start in the top left corner, new here, Access One-on-One 101 tips. We have different sections here um, for those that kind of have been using Access for a while. Maybe this is not the section for you. We've got kind of our site tour. Um, we have the difference between the Access app and the app login, the Access website rather, and the app login, how to navigate around Access. If anyone on here is a DMC or tour operator, getting started video for that. Kind of diving into specific parts of the Access website. And then our Access 101, just how to create a simple itinerary build. I would say that if you haven't already, these three links that I'm going to put in the chat here, or sorry, yes, the chat. Definitely grab those if you kind of need a reminder. Just going to add these links in. I can turn my fan off. Maybe that will help if that's better. You can let me know if that's better. Um, let's see, simple itinerary build. Has that improved at all? Let's see, understanding the difference, simple itinerary build and site tour. Okay, so I've added those and yeah, so different things you can check on in the new here section. I'm gonna go back out. Oh, I'm not gonna actually log out of here. So to see the boxes you guys will see. Live recorded training sessions. Um, still tweaking this a little bit, but definitely check this out. Um, so we just need a refresher on some of these things. Everything about itineraries from creating, editing, publishing, managing your trips. And then we, of course, have the documents and guides. And the documents and guides are found in the bottom menu of a specific AXUS itinerary where you can attach supporting PDFs and such that are helpful for the trip, and then guides, destination guides. Of course, these are not guides that you can curate, but just Travel 42 guides that are free, and you can add um, them for certain cities and areas. Bookings, just an FAQ about questions about bookings in general, uh, air, flight, hotel bookings, accommodation, cruise bookings, concierge, insurance, bookings about transportation, um, tour activity bookings, and then our other note bookings. So really breaking that booking category up into all these different sections. Integrations, we have different integrations set up, such as client base, Trace is a new one, Sabre, and then other integrations like Avanti or Project Expeditions, Tremata, that sort of thing. The mobile app experience for the traveler, how they're able to access the app, download the app, the traveler perspective of when they're actually using it themselves, talking about messaging and notifications, if you wanted to print, any troubleshooting things that may occur, how to navigate the app, and how to share or download itineraries on app. And then we've got profile organization and travelers. Um, as you know, if you're on travelers in the top menu, you're going to see your list of travelers by searching for the first letter of their last name. And then from there, you'll see their unique app credentials and that sort of thing. Profile about your credit card info for a subscription, 24-hour format versus 12-hour format, how to make your logo bigger. So if you go to your name in the top right corner, you would select profile, and then these are just the items that live in your profile a lot here. Organization advisors. Why can't I view my co-advisors' itineraries? Um, and then the opposite, how can I prevent other advisors, colleagues from seeing my itineraries? And so that's where you click advisors in the top menu. If you don't see anybody else here, you're probably an IC working in your own independent account where you have your own branding and that sort of thing. And then our library, um, organizations library and public library, how to create your own private library, your custom e-pages to work with your own AXUS, your organization's library. You're not only saving booking components, you're saving um, also itineraries to your library. When you save an itinerary to your library, it should strip out specific passenger info and dates, things like that. You can save, again, bookings to library, itineraries to your library. You can even save documents to your library. And then obviously when doing that, you're not going to want to be saving, the Smith's Air or the Garcia's hotel reservation, things that are more generic, things that have to do with your company and what you always want to include in the document section of each itinerary for your clients. Public library, um, how it works, itinerary samples, how you can save, we save items in the public library for you to kind of take a look at. Um, so if I click on library, I go right to your organization's library where everything lives. And then if I go here on the top right, I want to click on Access Featured Samples. And then this is where you'll find just some samples of things you can take a look at, like other notes. I've got just weather samples, currency converter for London, important phone. So just little things, thank you survey, items that you can take a look at, and then those resources kind of help you with that. So definitely check that out. I'll just link to the public library here, and it's pretty easy to navigate. And if something is tripping you up or confusing, definitely reach out to us. Like, I don't understand why this is in this section, that sort of thing. You guys are in this day in and day out, and so we want to make it as user friendly as we can for you. Collaboration. So itinerary collaboration, collaborating tour operators, DMCs, who you can collaborate with, a little more questions geared towards um, like messaging. Can I share tasks with a collaborator? So just a brief overview. If I'm inside an itinerary and I just could have clicked itineraries in the top menu. And I just want to go into a trip here. And I go in my title box at the top here and click on invite colleague, DMC, or tour operator. I can search for an existing AXUS user here in the drop down. Um, let's say it's Epic Europe. I could invite them to work on my specific trip. If I can't find that person, I can click invite on new. Well, I can go to the new tab, add their name, add their email, invite them to work on your specific itinerary. If you're doing that option, definitely send them a separate email just saying you've been working in Access, you booked a couple tours with them. Would they be willing to add that in for you? And then We've got a detailed list of DMCs and tour operators that you can work with already. So I'll link to collaboration here. Again, you can just click if you're in a section, just go back to AXUS Travel app and it'll take you to this main page. And then support and tech help. If you're having any connectivity issues, if you need to be checking out the incognito browser, um, for some reason, I know computers, they like to be so helpful, and sometimes they're saving an old password, and that is not helpful. And so you can basically use an incognito browser to see if, okay, is that the root of the issue? Do I need to delete my cookies or something of that in that nature? So definitely check out our support and tech help if you have any questions there. Okay, before I look at any questions that were submitted, and you can definitely continue to add, I want to look at, there was one question in the chat. It said, can you pull up the maps? So let me know if you're referring to anything else. Um, but if I'm in my itinerary, I'm going to go to web view and I'm going to scroll down. So I have an address here for a hotel, and you'll see this little red dot. And I can click on that and then just this Google map pops up for me. So the address is there, so that is helpful. Similarly, with this red dot. So I don't know if you're referring to that one. I want to say if I go to edit itinerary, I was trying to see if, oh, I think it's for the setting of the actual booking itself. So if I go to this restaurant, I can disable the map icon here, disable map icon and save. Um, so that is kind of where those maps show up. You don't have maps of cities. Well, you can, so we have that built-in feature there. You can do that. You can also, let me go to the past training. So this was how you could incorporate Google Maps to your AXUS itinerary. So I can take you to this I can link this resource in the chat for you guys. There's a way you can use like maps with your Google account and you can link in the different places. And so you could definitely add that and then you could embed that long link in the note section or in the website box of a booking. One second here. Sample itineraries. When you first get an AXUS account, you should have those sample itineraries um, uh, in your account. I can make a copy of this. Trying to think how many. Okay, there's several people on the call today. Um, I could, if you guys just say, I could basically add all attendees to this if you guys would like. Um, so if you would like me to add you as collaborator to this, it'll show up in your account. Um, why don't you put add your first name and last name. So this is what's easiest for me. Okay, guys. So if you go to your profile, the right-hand corner, this is your display name. So for this, my name in the top right corner, that's the name that shows up in web view. If you'll just write add and then with your and then dash your name that shows up in the top right corner. So if your company has a different name and it's not yours, if you could just find that exact name that will show up in a web view, and then if you will add those, I can definitely add you guys as collaborator to a sample trip. Otherwise, you can search, I don't know how long you've had access, but we do have sample itineraries as well. So that's the name that would show up in your display, and that'll be easy for me to add you as collaborator. I'll make a copy of this, maybe add a couple other bookings. So I'm going to go and copy this itinerary. I'm going to copy all, but I'm going to undo these first five. Called Athens sample. Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to do this a little later because it has stuff with dates. So I'm gonna have to do this a little later, but I will definitely work on that for you all. Okay. Yes, we'll do that. All right, let me take a look at questions that were submitted um earlier. And then as always, if you guys have extra questions, we'll take a look at those. Just put those in the Q&A box there. So often after I publish an itinerary, the e-invite is sent to new clients. They delete the invite. How do I resend it from AXUS? Great question. So what you want to do is you're going to click on the travelers box in my title box here. Click on travelers. And then in the bottom left corner, resend invite for this itinerary. You can do that. Another thing you'll see is email invite PDF. You can click on this, and this is similar to what they'll receive. And you can just attach this to an email, a personal email from yourself, and you can send it to them this way. They'll see their credentials in here. They'll be in that box. You also have the kind of a more of a plain text. I guess this is bolded, but um, without an image, you'll see this the passcode stuff here too. So where I found that was I just went to my itinerary title box, and at the bottom menu there, I clicked on the traveler, and then in the bottom left corner, resend invite for this itinerary, and then email invite PDF. When you type to search pictures, a lot of time brings random items. So I think you're referring to, let's say I just want a different, add an additional cover image. I'm going to click add image. We have three boxes here. We are getting, we've definitely made improvements. Hopefully, we'll be able to have our internal image library out in the next month or so. So that will be the fourth option. The third one here, search image library. We're connected to two different image libraries that we don't own. They're royalty free. They're free for you to use. You won't, no penalties there. It just, we can't control what's in there. So maybe change your word search, use a different word right now. And I know it's a little annoying right now. Any images that you save have to be connected to a booking to copy to your library. So eventually we'll have it where if you have a great image, you can upload it and it'll be in your library um, here within your AXUS account. So maybe just change the word to something else, but unfortunately, we can't control that feed. So, um, but it'll be really good when we get that other feature out. I just have a need help with support library, so I need more specifics there. Um, Generally want to improve and check best practices for access. Uh, yeah, I think if anything, constantly looking at your web view page to just see the latest info on that. Um, and making sure you have a cover image. You don't have to have an image necessarily for every single booking, but definitely having that cover image is I think really important. Um, always make sure to reload your page so you're looking at that latest info. That's important. Um, saving items to your library. If you frequently use the same restaurant options for your clients, just one time and one time only. I realize this is a hotel, but hit copy to library and save, copy to library and save for just one time for the hotel and for the restaurant, copy to library and save for the restaurant. So definitely utilize your local library. Obviously, not every trip is the same. It's tailored for that specific traveler. But there definitely are places that you'll probably recommend more than two or three times. So you can definitely save those components and even a full itinerary to your library. Downloading cruises. We need to put more specifics on that. You just want to make sure that um, when you go and click on cruise, I kind of bypass this front part here and I go right under the search button and I would just do cruise line, 4-digit day, / 2-digit month / 2-digit day. Sorry, month and day. So cruise line space 4-digit year dash 2-digit month dash 2-digit day. And it's going to be either coming by consortia or by our North Star database. It is helpful if you'll send me the day-to-day link from the cruise so I can make sure, okay, that's exactly, they're starting at this port, they're going to end over here. Um, and we can see if that sailing will pop up for us. So some about the library. So with the local library, we've got our little bookings, like different hotels, copying those hotels to the library, copying tour activities, whether it be a walking tour at the city or a museum, just adding those in. Right now, the process for like these components, you've got it's all alphabeticalized. So alphabetized. Wow, our words. Alphabetized, goodness. So you would have, kind of figure that out. Is it by region? Is it by country? If it's country, just keeping that in mind, of how you're kind of bringing it in. And then once it's in that specific booking, you don't have to kind of keep it with that same title. You're just bringing it in that way. Um, and then of course, specific itinerary templates. Um, so if I'm looking at this itinerary, it's going to have my pre-travel day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on. It's not going to have specific passenger info. And then when I'm ready, I can actually take that trip and turn it into an itinerary with a starting date, knowing, okay, this is a 7-day trip, this is a 9-day trip. It'll reflect that when it's creating that new itinerary for me. See what else? How to best use library to efficiently build similar itineraries for multiple client users going to the same overall trip, but with something different bookings. So with that, I would probably create a leader guide itinerary. So you can try to do something with the library, but again, it's not going to be specific client or and granted, there's certain things that are just going to pertain to the one family, one couple, friends, whatever. whether it be the room or maybe their transfer, their hotel, or their air is different, but maybe the hotel, specific hotel, and the restaurants and the tours, or maybe they're all the same. Um, so in that case, I would just create a leader guide that applies to everybody, kind of call it that. And then when you're ready, like let's say it's a cruise trip, when you're ready, have the date so that the start date is the earliest date that someone would arrive, and then the end date would be the last day, last possible day that someone would leave. So kind of have it be those overarching dates, and then go to the three dot menu, copy itinerary, and then you would copy what you want. Granted, in the leader guide, you're not going to have like air or transfers. You're not going to have that information in the leader guide. So you would copy your components. Only link if necessary. Linking has the option with a booking where I can save or save all. If you're going to link, I would link leader guide to uh, couple one, leader guide to couple two, etc. And then you can copy to existing if that itinerary already is in the feed, or new itinerary if it's brand new. If it's existing, you just find that name in the drop down. So when it comes to group travel and that sort of thing, it's good to have the last name in the title so you can kind of differentiate a little better. And with that, I will so group travel. So I've got a whole section on that, a whole page on group travel. So I'll put that in the chat. Let me quickly grab let's see, map. Where was the map? Okay, here it is. So I'm going to open this in a new window, and I think an ad will try to put, okay, I didn't. Okay. So this was the training for the uh creating a Google My Maps URL. So I will add that to the chat as well. Would love to hear about future implementation of AI and parsing tools. That is something our developers are working on, and that'll be great when we have that AI parsing option. The way to merge different records that belong to one trip into AXUS would be really nice functionally to have. Couldn't find a way to do so, have them manually add this information. So is that basically multiple itineraries? When you say records, does it have to do with client base, or were you adding these records by scratch, or another way you brought them in? Regardless, it sounds like there's different itineraries. They all need to be added to one. So if that's the case, it's just our copy itinerary feature. Basically, this kind of copy itineraries to new or existing, and I will link to that. But basically, going into one and copying each, like you're going to do the same process a few times. So you'll go into one itinerary where you just want the content, and you'll copy to existing. You want to copy to that one trip where it's the trip that everybody's going to see, is the trip that's going to be published for the clients. So you'll repeat the process again. You'll just go into other itineraries where you just want the content, copy all, copy whatever you want, and then add to the existing trip that will is the client facing, that will go out to the client. So you can't kind of do a triple merge. It's got to be one at a time, and just kind of know your end process, like which itinerary is going to be the published one. How to best duplicate and copy and importing info from a supplier. I showed you how to copy the itinerary. Just in the title here, you would just hit copy itinerary. If you want to copy a full itinerary to the library, you can do so that way. Importing, if you're importing, we have different vendors we're connected to, and you can do that there. Um, so if you are connected to like island destinations or you have an island destinations booking number, add your ID, travel, email, password, booking number, and your IATA, and you would import itinerary, creating a brand new itinerary with that booking number. And then from there, you add other items in. App for iPhone. Um, Basically, if you want to have the itinerary on your phone, you have to have a traveler profile that applies to everybody. So this would be that person's unique user ID and passcode. It is say system generated, case sensitive. So it either would be the user ID or the email connected, and then that passcode is case sensitive, system generated there. So click add traveler staff, assign if they already exist, and find them in the drop down, create, add their first name, last name, email, save. For you, if you don't have one yet, add your first name, last name, email, check staff traveler, and then save. So you have one extra step. Let me find. So this is a staff traveler. This is a regular traveler. Has that little person inside the circle, the little symbol. And if I click on it, the staff traveler box has been checked. And basically, once the trip is published to the client, it triggers that email invite. Um, in that email invite will be their unique app credentials. Any advances on Amadeus joining as a vendor? I if you'll send that question into us, just to see if there's been any updates. Let me see my latest. One second here. So I think the latest we have, we don't have that direct integration. We're working on that universal AI import feature where that type of reservation would be able to be imported. You could try email parsing, email confirmation parsing. Um, you want to make sure the body is in the contact, or sorry, the content is in the body of the email. Um, Info on parsing is here. I'll add that to the chat. Yeah, I don't know of any other developments on that. More on parsing. Oh, we've moved it around. So, someone wrote, I want to start an itinerary during my second week trial. Definitely check out the bookings or the links I added at the very beginning. Simple itinerary build. It was like the first link I added on this webinar chat. Make sure to either open these links or copy and save them to your like notes on your computer so you can check these out. And then let me look at more questions that were added. Can you import rail the same as cruises? No, there's not like a rail lookup. It is pretty user friendly. You would just kind of do your copy and paste. So insert new above, transportation, select the transit type, rail, and then you would just add in the info you want to add, and then just save. So there is not a rail lookup, yeah. Okay, so the question about um several records into one record, that had to do, thank you for the clarification, that has to do with PNRs. So first of all, if you're not already connected with Sabre, there is a process there. If you, let's say you've added, I'm going to go to vendors in the top menu. You're connected to Sabre, you'd click import, you would add your PNR, it would create an itinerary like that shell. So, but let's say you have five others to add to that. If that's the case, let's say this is the Sabre record that I created and I'm now inside my itinerary. So I've added, PNR one. So now I have to go to my right-hand menu and then one by one, I'm going to click Sabre, add my second PNR, import. And I'm still inside, import vendor, choose Sabre, add my third PNR, import. So that's how initially you can create, import that vendor with the first PNR, and then you'll have to be inside that new itinerary with the inside menu. Now I'm adding my fourth Sabre PNR and then import itinerary. So that is how you would add um, those additional PNRs. And then Sabre, with Sabre, there's a process, Sabre PNR import. What you have to do, one person from your agency org will need to reach out to your local Sabre rep to get the process started. Um, just making sure here, 1 second. And how to import from Sabre, going to add that video here. So a lot of links thrown your way, but I hope they're helpful. Let me look at any other questions that might have slipped past me. Okay. All right. Thank you for sending these items to me. All right. The import from Sabre appears to be way easier and more efficient than what we are working with, which is Tremata. I'm not 100% on that, but if it's working, that's great. It's just for everybody. If you have additional questions that I don't get to, or there's just I don't answer enough, feel free to email us support@axustravel.com. That's support@axustravel.com. I put that in the chat. And um, it is just always helpful if you're inside the itinerary, your Access ID, if you're inside the trip, right? So if you're on the main feed, I'm gonna only see like I'll see the Access ID, but I'll see a bunch of them, right? So I'm not gonna see my website address, browser address doesn't have that specific itinerary. So once I'm in there, my Access ID matches my itinerary, the end of my itinerary address. So if you'll send that my way, it's also helpful if you send me the web view link of your itinerary. If you do that, I know whose account I can be in. Again, sometimes there's people that your display name is different from your name. So helpful if you can send that my way. And then I can look at the dates, what I specifically need to zero in on. So I really appreciate that. Of course, any screenshots you send me, if you use something like Loom, Loom, to kind of record something that's going on for you, those are always helpful as well. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna hang on for another minute or so. Otherwise, thank you everybody for joining me. I hope you utilize our library. Let us know if anything's missing or anything you would add. Otherwise, thanks everybody for your time. Thank you. Thank you guys.